Hello everyone. So in this episode of the action RPG series, I am going to work on different gameplay damage effects and damage abilities for the great sword. So here, compared to the light sword, now the great sword will have different damage amount. So here you see, this is the regular sword attacks, so you have to make do multiple attacks to the enemy to kill it, even with heavy attacks. But with the great sword, now you will see 2 heavy attacks is enough. See, the character is dead. And also you see the range, the damage range and the attack range is much wider compared to the other sword. So yeah, these are the things, and those were light attacks, so that's why the character did not die right away, but with heavy attacks the character will die. So yeah, those are the things that I am going to work in this episode. As we are working with the gameplay ability system, we will create custom damage abilities and damage gameplay effects for the great sword. And before we get started, I'd like to remind you, you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects that I have done from the Patreon page. I'll leave the link in description. So to the date, there are closer to 2000 videos, not just this project, there are thousands of different projects, and you can download the project file of any project once you become a member. And also, this is a part of this action RPG with gameplay ability system series I'm doing. You can watch all other episodes as well, so I'll leave the link to the full playlist in the description. And let's get back to today's tutorial. Alright, so the first thing I want to address is this. So here, let me play and pick up the great sword, and when I equip the great sword and do an attack, now you see the character is moving closer to the enemy who's going to attack, whose we are going to attack. But these distances are based on the sword and shield. So when we have the great sword, it's not necessary for us to move closer because the great sword is big. So that's the first thing I want to solve. So for that, let's go to GA attack great sword, and of course this is a subclass of GA attack sword. So let me go to the parent, and here we have this part where we adjust position animation. So inside here what happens is we calculate the distance to the closest enemy. Here we get the set the closest enemy, and based on the distance to the closest enemy we play this animation montage, this, which allows player to move closer to the enemy to make sure that the attack does land on the enemy. So now here you see, if this distance is larger than 200, we play the montage. Here we change the montage starting section. If it is larger than 275, we start it from the default, which allows player to move cover more ground compared to starting in the middle. So if this distance is much larger than 200, then we will not have a valid locked enemy, because the locked enemy is taken only for 350 units of distance. So here I'll promote this to parameter. What should we call this? I'll call it weapon range, and in this step, instead of hard coding the value, I'll add a 75 simply, because this is 200 by default. Okay, now let me make sure things are still working for the sword. Yeah, it is working. Great. Now for the great sword, let's override those values. Weapon range, I'll make it 300. Now character will not necessarily move closer, that much closer. See? It seems good. Okay, and the other thing is, now the damage done to the enemy. So this is same as the regular sword, so we need to change that. Now the reaction and damage is decided here. This is also in the attack sword. Here we have this. We trigger, we send these gameplay events to the hit actors, that means nearby actors that gets hit by the weapon, and we send gameplay events based on this gameplay tags. Now I think we should also promote these to variables, so then we can override these for the great sword. So this is ability.sword.reactLight. Let me promote this to a variable. Let's call it react light tag, react heavy tag. Okay, let's see the default values. They retain the default values. Alright, now let's see ability.sword.reactHeavy. There should be gameplay abilities for those. GA, here, GA hit react sword heavy, GA hit react sword light. So if I open one of these, we can see the activation ability tags, ability.sword.react light, and also here we have set up an ability trigger, ability.sword.react light. So this is also the trigger. Now here we apply these two gameplay effects. This is GE damage sword and GE stun. So what we need to do is, we also need to change these will control how much of a damage the character will get and how long it will be stunned for. So we need to override these two as well. So I think it would be better if we implement a common mechanism to apply certain gameplay effects that we need for when a certain ability is activated. So for that, let's go to the player parent. Here, granted abilities. What's the class type? Gameplay effect. Okay, let's add a new variable, applied effects, gameplay effects, gameplay effect, class reference. This should be an array because here we are given a class reference. Right now, let's add a new function, not a graph, new function. Oh, it could be a custom event as well. Apply gameplay effects. Oh, this should be the name. It should be a custom event. Okay, now iterate through these gameplay effects. And apply gameplay effect to owner. Like this. Okay, then we can, so here let me select it, GE damage sword and GE stun. Here damage sword and stun. Now we can get rid of this part. Instead of them, we can, instead of this, we can apply gameplay effects. Let's test to make sure things are still working. Yeah, they are. Okay, now we can override them. And for the great sword, here you should be able to see applied gameplay effects. Wait. Oh, here. Oh no, actually we can't assign the gameplay effects here. For the great sword, what we can do is we can have a different reaction tag, but now we need different reaction abilities for the great sword. So one more thing, let's check the react heavy. Oh, this is also, why isn't this, is this not a child of GCLM? Let me make it GCLM child. Otherwise we will not have access to the functions that we defined in GACLM, including this one. So So heavy reaction also it's like this. Alright, for heavy reaction we can't actually use that previously defined function, because here if the character is blocking, the character should still get stunned. So that's why stun is applied even if the execution coming from upper branch, but not the damage gameplay effect. Damage is only occurred only if the victim is not currently blocking. So we're gonna have to leave it like that. Okay. Hit reaction though. Light reaction. Let's create a child. Hit GA hit react greatsword light. Now here I'll change the ability tag to, let's add a new tag, ability greatsword react light. Now enable that. Okay, and here instead of this, just this react light. Alright, now maybe instead of this damage sword, here let's see, we only reduce 10 health points. So we can either let's duplicate this. Damage greatsword, and I'll change this to -20, double the damage. Okay, and for the GE damage greatsword, now I can, so here GA hit react greatsword, I'll use that GE damage greatsword. Okay, and now let's try to use this using this tag ability greatsword dot react light. How do we enable that? Here GA attack greatsword, for the react light instead of this we can use this, but in order to activate this we need to make sure that ability is already given to characters. So here we have default abilities. Under that we have GA hit react sword heavy, GA hit react sword light. I'll add hit react greatsword as well. Now let's see if it still works before we add the heavy reaction for the greatsword. Yeah, it is working. Okay, to test this, let's see if I make it 200, the character should instantly die. Yeah, it is working. Great. But we don't need to make it 200. -20 is enough. Okay, now just like this, we need a heavy reaction as well. So GA react sort heavy. So here, as I said, we can't use the existing function. So what we can do is, let's promote this to a variable. Let's call it damage effect, and this one stun effect. Okay, now let's create a child of this. Get react greatsword. Now just like before, we can add ability greatsword react heavy. So new tag and use that for the ability tag and also for the trigger. Now here by default damage effect is GE damage sword heavy. We can, let's see, let me duplicate this. GE damage great sword heavy. I'll make it instead of 20 -40. What else? And the damage greatsword heavy. And for the stun, she is stun heavy. Oh, here duration, it's only 3 seconds. So for the greatsword we need a longer stun time. So let me change this. Stun GE stun greatsword and G stun greatsword heavy. So the regular stun, what's the GE stun regular time? 2. So this I leave at 3, and for the heavy stun let's make it 4. Okay, now GA react greatsword heavy. For the stun, GE greatsword heavy stun. And for the other one, light reaction, GA hit react greatsword light. Let me change the stun. GE stun greatsword. Alright, and now we need to add this as a default ability. GA hit react greatsword heavy. Alright, now let's see. See it again. I guess so. Alright. Oh no, actually I forgot to assign GA attack greatsword, the new tag here for the react heavy tag. We need to assign react heavy greatsword GA ability dot greatsword dot react heavy. So even though we saw a reaction, it's just a heavy reaction for the regular sword. Now with 2 attacks we should be able to kill the enemy. No, 3 attacks. Wait, it's not working yet. Okay, why? Actually the heavy reactions was not happening because this duration for the GE heavy attack tag gameplay effect, this is the one that I used to determine heavy attacks. 0.7 is not enough, it seems, so I'll make it 2 seconds. So here what happens is, when I start pressing the input for the light attack, I apply this heavy attack gameplay effect, and once I release the key, this gameplay effect is cleared out. But if I press and hold the key without releasing for some time, it will turn out to a heavy attack. See, I am just pressing. If I press and hold, it becomes a heavy attack. Now I'm getting hit like that. Okay, now the character dies in 2 shots. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all I want to cover in this episode. So thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available for the download in Patreon page. Link would be in the description below, and I will continue to work more on the combat systems in upcoming episodes as well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Feel free to let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will try to consider your ideas and integrate them into the series in upcoming episodes. So see you in the next episode. Goodbye.